You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 127.1.4, our boys basketball top 20 power poll and weekly honors for the week of December 16th to 21st, 2024. For every boys basketball varsity program in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and northern Hamilton counties.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you've chosen to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report. We think you've made the right choice. Today is December 26th, 2024. It is a Thursday, so it's another day for the Central Indiana Sports Report. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt, and I love Central Indiana basketball. I'm coming to you today from headquarters in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Producer Susie is in the control room. Susie and I will be back in the area for the Grant 4 tournament on Saturday and Christmas with my mother. But it's been nice spending some time with her down here at headquarters. Anyway, we had to break our weekend review down into 4 parts because we had so much. I've been a little late, but it seems to have worked out well. As long as we continue to get the amount of participation that we are getting from the boys basketball coaches, and it's so greatly appreciated, we'll probably continue to break it down into at least 3 parts every Monday in the future. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of boys basketball stuff, and other stuff. Man, my parents always hated when I used the word stuff when I was growing up. A little later today, we will have our girls basketball top 20 power poll and weekly honors. We will also have Colts talk with George Brimmer. We'll ask George if the Colts have a chance to make the playoffs. In the morning, we will have Will Rutherford's 5 questions that need answers, where I ask Will Rutherford 5 questions about national sports, and he gives answers, and I tell him if he's right or wrong. He's usually wrong. But it is a lot of fun. Also, we will have our girls basketball and boys basketball holiday tournament preview specials. And Mike Rich returns to talk about the Pacers' current hot streak. Hopefully they get another win on Thursday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Big one. And we'll have lots of college football talk with Eric and Ryan Robinson coming up in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And of course, our boys and girls basketball scoreboards return on Saturday. We start our weekly honors with our performance of the week, and our candidates are Kokomo senior Zion Bellamy had a career-high 43 points, and the Wildcats' 109-104 overtime loss to Marion on Friday. He also had 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals. Western senior Hudson Biggs had 18 points. He was 8 for 10 from the field with 13 rebounds in the Panthers' big 47-45 Hoosier Conference win over Hamilton Heights on Friday. Taylor Jr. Javon Harris had 19 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 block shots, and 2 steals in a 60-33 Hoosier Heartland win over Delphi. Elwood senior Jaden Mullins had 23 points and 20 rebounds in the Panthers' 41-29 win over Burris on Thursday. And Pendleton Heights junior Cooper Sims had 33 points. He was 11 for 15 from the field, 5 for 8 from behind the three-point arc, and 6 for 9 at the free throw line, and outscored Liberty Christian 13-8 by himself in the fourth quarter in a 60-45 home win. Sims also had 10 rebounds and 3 steals. And the Central Indiana Sports Report Boys Basketball Performance of the Week is Cooper Sims' big night against Liberty Christian on Saturday. The candidates for Win of the Week. After losing its first game of the season on Tuesday, Anderson went to Indianapolis and dominated 6th-ranked Pike in a 79-63 victory. Liberty Christian came from behind and beat crosstown rival Anderson Prep 59-57 to clinch at least a share of the Pioneer Conference North Division. Northwestern improved to 2-0 in the Three Rivers Conference with a 43-31 win at Rochester on Friday. Oak Hill became the favorite in the CIC after beating Frankton 61-55 on Friday. And also on Friday, Western clinched a share of the Hoosier Conference East Division with a 47-45 road win at Hamilton Heights. And our Central Indiana Sports Report win of the week was the Anderson Indians' 79-63 victory over number 6 Pike. Our candidates for Central Indiana Sports Report Coach of the Week: James Blackman's Marion Giants beat Kokomo 109-104 in overtime to move into first place in the North Central Conference, then went to Huntington and beat the Vikings 73-60. Wapahani head coach Matt Luce has his Raiders at 7-0. Their closest games have been a pair of 11-point victories over LaPel and Pendleton Heights. Cam Heineman's Tri-Central Trojans went 2-0 and outscored Clinton Central and Madison Grant by a combined 34 points. Oak Hill coach Kevin Renbarger's Golden Eagles defeated the Frankton Eagles in a huge CIC victory. And Taylor's Robert Wannell has his Titans at 5-0 after a 61-33 win over Delphi in the Titans Hoosier Heartland opener. And the Central Indiana Sports Report boys basketball coach of the week is Marion's James Blackman. Not only did the Giants upset Kokomo 109-104 in overtime, they came back the following night and took care of business with a 73-60 win over Huntington North. Both games were on the road. The candidates for Central Indiana boys basketball player of the week: Wapahani junior Camden Bell had 41 points, shot 58% from the field, was 9 for 14 from behind the three-point arc. He's now 29 for 45 for the year. That's 66%. And had 15 rebounds in the Raiders' blowout wins over West Dell and Alexandria. In wins over Muncie Central and Logansport, Tipton senior Grady Carpenter had 49 points, going 20 for 40 from the field, and stuffed the stat sheet with 20 rebounds, 13 assists, 3 steals, and 2 block shots, and I believe is the best defender I've seen this year. Marion junior Tim Jones had 44 points, 14 steals, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists in Marion's wins over Kokomo and Huntington North over the weekend. He had 26 points, 10 steals, and 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in the Giants' big win over Kokomo. Anderson senior Damian King had 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals against Mount Vernon, then had 14 points and went over 1,000 for his career in Anderson's big win over Pike. And Sheridan senior Caleb Wright had 49 points in wins over Eastern and Frankfort last week. He connected on 18 of his 31 field goal attempts and was 8 for 14 from behind the three-point line. He also had 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 4 steals. But the Central Indiana Sports Report player of the week, not even close, Marion junior guard Tim Jones, was incredible. The candidates for Central Indiana Sports Report Team of the Week: Delta won its 4th and 5th straight games, 60-44 at home against Jay County and 49-46 on the road in overtime at Muncie Central on Saturday. Marion got a big 109-104 overtime win at Kokomo on Friday and then beat Huntington North 73-60, both away from home. Oak Hill has beaten both teams considered the top threats to their CIC aspirations, including a 61-55 win over Frankton on Friday. Sheridan is on top of the Hoosier Heartland standings after beating Eastern 83-49 at home Friday. Then the Blackhawks won their 5th consecutive game, 53-43 over Frankfort on Saturday. And Wapahani beat Westdell and Alexandria by a combined 55 points over the weekend. But the Central Indiana Sports Report Team of the Week is the Marion Giants after wins over Kokomo and Huntington North over the weekend. Before we get to our top 20 power poll, which by the way has a new number 1 team, as you might suspect, since Previous number one Kokomo lost twice last week. Please go like, subscribe, or follow on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or YouTube. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report, and you can find it on any of them. Heck, go follow us on all of them. It would be greatly appreciated and would be very helpful if you would do so. All right, to our top 20 power poll for varsity basketball teams in Blackford, Delaware, Grant, Howard, Madison, Tipton, and northern Hamilton counties. Just outside the top 20, Northwestern and Tri-Central, coming in at number 20, dropping 6 spots this week. Yorktown is now 3-2. They've lost 4 in a row since a 3-0 start. Number 19 is Anderson Prep. They are 5-2 overall. They are up 1 spot from last week. They proved they're for real in a 59-57 loss to Class A number 2 at the time, Liberty Christian. Muncie Central moved up 1 spot to number 18 despite 2 losses. 1-5 doesn't sound good, and it's not. But against the schedule they've played, still makes them a top 20 team. Blackford was 18th last week. They are 17th this week. They are 4-2 overall, and they were so close to 5 wins in a row, but lost in overtime to Eastern Hancock. Number 16 is Hamilton Heights. The Huskies are 4-4. They dropped 3 spots after dropping a pair of games over the weekend. Sheridan is 6-1. They went from 17th to 15th in the most recent power poll, still unbeaten in December. 2-4 Mississinawa comes in at number 14. They moved up a spot. It's a good weekend for the Indians. They beat Madison Grant 54-31 in a CIC game, then dropped a 4-point decision at 2A number 15 Lapel. Taylor is number 13. They are ranked 9th in Class 2A, and they're unbeaten through 5 games for the second time in 3 years. Frankton moved down 3 spots from 9 to 12 after a tough 6-point loss at Oak Hill. And just 2-3, but everybody knows that a whole lot of wins are coming for the Eagles. Tipton stayed at number 11. They went 2-0 this week after going 0-2 last week. Liberty Christian dropped from number 8 to number 10. They're 5-3 overall. The Class A number 4 Lions clinched at least a share of the Pioneer North Division with a 59-57 win over crosstown rival Anderson Prep, then lost by 15 points against Pendleton Heights on Saturday. Lapel is number 9. They are 3-2. They dropped 4 spots. It was an up and down week for the Bulldogs during what's been an up and down start. Pendleton Heights was our biggest mover of the week, going from number 16 to number 8. They are 2-5. The 2 reasons that they moved up so much is, number 1, they had a really good performance in a 3-point loss to Class 3A number 3 Garin Catholic before beating Class A number 2 Liberty Christian, and partly because I had them way too low last week. Oak Hill moved from number 10 to number 7 after winning their 3rd straight game and improving to 2-0 in the CIC with a 61-55 win over rival Frankton. Western moved from number 7 to number 6. The surprise of the early season, Western may have the best early resume of any team in the area. They beat Hamilton Heights 47-45 on the road in their only game this week. Kokomo dropped from number 1 to number 5. They lost a pair of games. We expect a full rebound in their holiday tournament. Delta is number 4. The Eagles have won 5 games in a row since their only loss of the season. They beat Jay County and Muncie Central this week. Marion jumped from number 6 to number 3. We just told you why in the team of the week. Anderson moved from number 3 to number 2, and they took their first loss of the season against Mount Vernon on Tuesday, then bounced back with what has to be the win of the week, dominating number 6 Pike from start to finish. And number 1 in the Class 2A poll is number 1 in the Central Indiana Sports Report Power Poll. It, of course, is the Wapahani Raiders. They are the area's only unbeaten team and have been incredibly impressive through 7 games. I felt like this week should have been 1A, 1B, and 1C with Wapahani, Marion, and Anderson. But with Wapahani being unbeaten, they take the number one spot. It is not guaranteed going forward that they will stay there because if Anderson and Marion can win some upcoming games, they will have a chance to leap the Raiders. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. I know you've been thinking of someone who would enjoy the Central Indiana Sports Report. Please go share this with them right now. And we hope everybody had the merriest Christmas of all time. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.